What if the reason your days feel out of control has nothing to do with your schedule and everything to do with your first 5 minutes? Not your workload, not your relationships, not your circumstances. 5 minutes, the ones you're probably wasting right now without even knowing it. And here's what makes that painful. It's not your fault. Nobody taught you this. Not school, not your parents, not a single productivity system you've ever tried. But 2,000 years ago, a group of philosophers who faced war, exile, slavery, and plague figured out something about the morning that modern neuroscience is only now catching up to. Your brain, in the first few minutes after waking, is in a state that researchers call high neuroplasticity. It is more open, more impressionable, more ready to accept whatever it receives than at almost any other point in the day. That is either the most powerful opportunity you have, or it is your greatest vulnerability. Right now, for most people reading this, it is a vulnerability. You hand that window to your phone, to the news, to someone else's algorithm, and then you wonder why the day feels like it's running you instead of the other way around. This video gives you 10 declarations rooted in Stoic philosophy that will change what happens in those first 5 minutes. Not hype, not affirmations you repeat without believing. Structured truths that train your mind before the world gets the chance to program it for you. By the end, you'll have a complete morning framework you can use tomorrow. But I need you to stay with me, because the ones that will hit hardest are coming in the middle. And if you leave early, you'll miss the one that most people say changes everything. The first declaration, I am responsible for how today feels. Say that again slowly. I am responsible, not your inbox, not the traffic, not the person who said the wrong thing yesterday. You. This is where Stoicism begins and where most modern advice quietly flinches. Because responsibility is uncomfortable, it's easier to be a victim of your morning than the architect of it. Epictetus was a slave. He owned nothing. He controlled nothing externally. And yet he became one of the most psychologically free people in recorded history, because he understood one thing with absolute clarity. No one can touch what happens inside you without your permission. Your happiness is not for sale. Your peace is not up for negotiation. Your attitude is the one thing that has always been and will always be yours alone. So before the day takes a single thing from you, claim this, out loud if you have to. I am responsible for how today feels. The second declaration. Nothing can disturb my peace without my permission. Here's the mistake most people make. They think peace is what you feel when nothing is wrong. It isn't. Peace is what you've trained yourself to return to when everything is wrong. There is a difference between those two things, and that difference is the entire game. Marcus Aurelius lost children. He buried friends. He led an empire through plague while his own body was failing him. And in the private pages of his journal, the one he never intended anyone to read, he kept writing the same reminder to himself. The event is not the problem. Your interpretation of the event is the problem. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. The Stoics spent their lives training to live inside that space. That space is where your power lives. Your mind is a fortress, and you are the only gatekeeper it has ever had. The third declaration. Today I focus only on what I can control. This one will save you more energy than any productivity hack you've ever tried. Write it down if you need to. Your effort, your words, your attitude, your next action. That is your entire department. Everything outside of that, other people's reactions, the economy, the news cycle, what someone thinks of you, is not your jurisdiction. Epictetus called this the dichotomy of control. And he said that the moment you truly internalize this distinction, you begin to taste freedom for the first time. Think about yesterday. How much of your mental energy went toward things you couldn't change? A conversation you kept replaying, a decision someone else made, a worry about something that hasn't happened yet. That energy was yours, and it was spent in the wrong department. Today you take it back. The fourth declaration. My worth is not measured by today's outcomes. This is the one that quietly destroys people and nobody talks about it. We have built an entire culture around the idea that your value is your output, that you earn your rest, that you deserve dignity only after you've produced something worthy of it. The Stoics called this a catastrophic confusion. Seneca wrote that the truly wise person loses nothing even when they lose everything externally, because what is genuinely theirs cannot be taken by any outcome. Your worth existed before today's to-do list. It will exist after. Success or failure today, you remain a human being deserving of dignity. Pursue excellence. Work hard, but never tie your self-respect to a result. That is a rope with a noose at the end. The fifth declaration. I will act, not just intend. And here is the uncomfortable truth hiding inside this one. Most people live almost entirely in intention. They know what they should do. They plan to do it. They feel in some vague way that the knowing itself is progress. It isn't. Epictetus had no patience for this. He said it plainly. It is not enough to know what is right. You must do what is right. Virtue is not a thought you have in the morning. It is a movement you make before noon. Close the gap. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Today. The distance between who you are and who you want to be is not made of knowledge. It is made of action you keep deferring. The sixth declaration. Every challenge is a chance to grow stronger. Marcus Aurelius wrote something that has outlasted every empire that existed in his time. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. He wasn't writing poetry. He was describing a survival mechanism for the intelligent mind. When you hit resistance, everything in you wants to treat it as a reason to stop. The Stoic mind is trained to ask one different question. What is this building in me? Your problems are not interruptions to your growth. They are the method of it. Don't wish them away. Mind them. The seventh declaration. I will not compare my journey to anyone else's. You already know what comparison does to you. You felt it. That particular hollow feeling after 30 minutes on your phone where somehow everyone else seems further along, more put together, more certain of where they're going. The Stoics called the obsession with external comparison a waste of the ruling faculty. Your mind, your most valuable resource, hemorrhaging energy on a measurement that was never meaningful to begin with. Your only competition has always been the person you were yesterday. Run that race. It's the only one with a finish line that actually means something. The eighth declaration. I choose discipline over motivation. Motivation is weather. Some days it shows up. Most days it doesn't. And here is what nobody tells you about motivation. It was never supposed to be the engine. It was supposed to be the spark. Discipline is the engine. The Stoics never once talked about feeling inspired to do the right thing. They talked about training, habit, returning to behavior regardless of internal state. On the days you feel nothing, and those days will come, discipline is what moves you anyway. Marry your behavior to your values, not to how you feel when you wake up. The ninth declaration. Gratitude will shape how I see today. This is not about pretending life is fine when it isn't. This is about accuracy. The Stoics practiced something called negative visualization. They would deliberately imagine losing what they had, health, relationships, stability, specifically so the present moment would register as what it actually is. Enough, real, here. Gratitude is not a feeling you wait for. It is a lens you train. And when you train it, you stop living inside the gap between where you are and where you think you should be, and you start actually inhabiting your life. The 10th declaration. I will end today better than I started. Not perfect, better, 1%. The Stoics were methodical about the evening review. Marcus did it. Seneca wrote about it in detail. At the close of each day, you ask yourself 3 questions without self-punishment and without self-congratulation. Where did I fall short of my values today? Where did I hold the line? What do I carry into tomorrow? This is not a guilt practice. This is a calibration practice. Every single day of your life is raw material. The question is whether you're using it or just surviving it. Now here is your practice, and I want you to actually do this tomorrow. Before you touch your phone, before you speak to anyone, sit up, take 3 slow breaths, then read through these 10 declarations, out loud if possible, quietly if not. Give it 5 minutes. You are not trying to feel motivated. You are not trying to feel anything in particular. You are setting a direction. You are programming your mind before the world does. Do this every morning for 14 days and keep a single note on your phone, tracking what changes. Not what improves, what changes. The shift will be specific and it will be yours. This is the morning practice the Stoics called the preparation of the soul. 5 minutes, every morning, before the world starts talking. Here is what we covered. You are responsible for your internal weather. Peace is trained, not inherited. Your lane is the only one you can run. Your worth was never attached to outcomes. Intention without action is sophisticated delay. Obstacles are the curriculum. Comparison is a drain with no floor. Discipline outlasts every feeling. Gratitude is accuracy, not denial. And every day ends with calibration, not judgment. One line. Your first 5 minutes don't just shape your morning. They shape who you become across years of mornings stacked together. Start that stack with intention. Or don't start it at all. If this landed, the next video goes deeper into the Stoic evening review. How to close the day with the same clarity you just learned to open it with. Drop in the comments which declaration you needed most today. I want to know which one found you.